Day off with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if we can all stand. Oh, we got the flag up. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you all for coming out today. Many of you know me, but if you don't, my name is Jerry Keenan. I am the local chapter of NIAP president, and I'm going to turn the microphone over to Belinda Govich, who is our communications coordinator for the chapter, to do our introductions of our welcomed legislators and police and law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And thank you everyone for coming. I know we all have very busy schedules, but it's always so important to take time for this type of event that, you know, educates people on the importance of stopping for school buses. You know, when I'm talking to people, one of the questions I usually get is, well, what would you say to motorists? And I would just simply say, you know, what is that phone call worth to you? What is that text message worth to you? What is that 30 seconds you probably just saved worth to you? Is it worth a child's life? I don't think it is. So I'm going to keep it short because we have people much more important than me here today that I would love for you to hear from. Thank you. And that we are so grateful to have here today with us. So I would like to introduce to you DMV Director, or I'm sorry, DMV Commissioner Mark Schroeder. He was not in the hot seat today.
Thank you, Melinda. Good morning. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. My name is Mark Schroeder, and I was in the private sector for 25 years. I was an elected official for 17, and I've been the commissioner of DMV and the chair of the Governor's Traffic and Safety Committee since 2019. On behalf of our governor, she knows you're all here. And so many of you know she is the only woman governor in New York State history. Some of you might know she's the second governor from where I come from, Buffalo, New York. But what I want you to know is she is the only governor in New York State history who actually has run a DMV. So she knows DMV, she knows our partners, she knows law enforcement, and she is a very willing partner. I want to especially thank Shaker Road, Loudonville Fire Department. This place formalized 92 years ago in an old Sunday school house, and I just want to, anybody who's here, thank you for protecting our community, especially our kids, by hosting Operation Safe Stop. So all of you know that Operation Safe Stop is an education enforcement program. All of us in this room today are taking action to improve school bus safety. And I especially want to thank the media for being here and for getting our message out. Walt McClure, who is our director of communications, if you need to talk with him or to get information to him so that we can be more helpful within DMV. And Walt also communicates with the media here in the Capital Region. It's very, very important, and we thank you all for being here. In my day, you know, when I was a kid, I went to public school 72, and then I went to a high school called Bishop Timon High School. I walked to school. It was about a mile. I walked to school. That's the way it was. It's not the way it is anymore. I have a granddaughter, Lily, and she takes the school bus twice a day. So I know that parents and grandparents worry. I worry. But I'll tell you what I don't worry about. I don't really worry about bus drivers because I've been to every CDL site in New York State that we run. And I know how well they are trained and how important it is to them to do a good job each and every day. And so it's the distracted driver or the driver who's late for work or the driver who just doesn't give a hell and just doesn't pay attention to anything but him or herself. That's what I worry about, and that's what you all worry about, and that's why we're really here today. You've seen the videos, I've seen the videos with the bus driver pulling the kid out of harm's way because the driver has no idea what's around him or her. And so I just want to say that I am very proud of the Governor's Traffic and Safety Committee. Justin O'Connor, who's our director, thank you. And we will continue. The Governor's Traffic and Safety Committee, we will continue to develop programs and to give you the tools and the funding that you need. So thank you. God bless you and God bless your family.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Your words mean a lot and your support means everything to us, so we appreciate that. Senator Tedisco is also a big supporter of pupil transportation. And today we have Mike Keneally from his office on his behalf to speak with us.
Well, thank you, Belinda. The senator unfortunately could not make it today, but he certainly sends his gratitude to Belinda, everyone involved with Operation Safe Stop. Now, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have Operation Safe Stop. We'd come to an event like this and it'd be called Mission Accomplished. But unfortunately, people get in a hurry in this life and they're not thinking. And it reminds me of the Progressive commercial, Turning Into Your Parents. You know, it's you see that person like sprinting through the airport, trying to get to the gate, and the lady says somebody should have left home earlier. And if that's the case, yes, you should leave home earlier. Anything that because we all get, you know, in a hurry, probably even coming to this event, we probably were in a hurry. But it's important. It's not a gray area. In fact, even when you see the bus stop and you see those red lights going back and forth on the top before the stop sign even comes out, probably a good time to start thinking about stopping and paying attention to your surroundings. So again, Belinda, thank you. It's very important, and thank you for putting together this event.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to Senator Tedisco for his support as always as well too. At this time, I'd like to introduce Assemblywoman Warner, who is also a great supporter of pupil transportation, which we really appreciate her support as well.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. I represent the 113th Assembly District, which is just slightly north of here. It's a great mix of small cities and suburbs and rural communities. And pupil transportation is such a critical part of the educational experience for kids because they travel oftentimes long distances to get to their school campus. So I want to, on behalf of all of the students and their parents, thank you for running such a safe program. And it really is important that we continue to draw attention to the issues of drivers getting distracted or not caring and just simply blowing through those stop arms. And I was pleased that in this budget, we were able to extend the pilot program for another 5 years to make sure that this effective tool remains available to law enforcement to try and keep those distracted drivers alert and aware of their surroundings and of the danger that they could pose to a small child getting off a school bus. I want to just take the privilege of the floor for a moment and say that I know that in the coming years, pupil transportation is going to be particularly challenged as we make the transition to electric school buses. And I want you to know that as I said on the floor of the Assembly a couple of days ago, we have got to get serious about figuring out the logistics of this transition and making sure that school districts have the financial help they need and the policy help they need to make this transition in a way that is affordable for our taxpayers, safe for our kids, and achievable for our school districts. And you have my support to do that because I know that you and your school administration is incredibly challenged as we look at this transition. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblywoman, for those words regarding EV buses as well too. We certainly appreciate the support you are giving us. At this time, I'd like to introduce Assemblyman Ashby.
Thank you, Belinda. It's great to be with you all this morning. It's interesting thinking back on my career prior to politics before getting in at the local level, the Assembly and now the Senate. I was an occupational therapist over at Sunnyview Rehab, and I can remember one of the first pediatric patients that I treated up there in the brain injury unit had to do with a vehicle accident, and young kid on a bike in the road, driver was distracted. And this was even before texting and people really misusing their cell phones. And we just see the prevalence of it even more today in my district across the river over in Rensselaer County. Just a few months ago, you saw a bus driver literally pull the child back onto the bus because someone was not paying attention and driving in a ridiculous manner. And, we were fortunate enough to have that child saved and then honor that person up at the New York State Capitol. And the media has done a fantastic job in really getting this issue out there. And at the legislature, we have made gains. We fought for cameras being placed on school buses. We know that this pilot program is going to be extended again in this year's budget, but there's only so much that we can do within the avenues of the law as opposed to people really behaving as they should. And it blows my mind to think of this, that when I see it every morning when I'm driving my children to school, the way that they behave, and it's almost like, can you believe this? Can you believe that that we're seeing this? So I think it's incumbent on all of us that when we see things like this, we also act in the right way, right? Because sometimes you can see things escalate on the road, right? But you can also, talk to people around you. You can talk to law enforcement. I want to thank law enforcement for being here today. They play such a pivotal role in this, along with Supervisor Crummy. I mean, this is a community effort. It's not just a singular effort. And when we work outside of those silos to really maximize the impact of this message, that's where I think we stand the most to gain. So I want to thank you all for coming out here today. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to working with you on this issue.
We're trying to, difficulties with this microphone, so we're trying to see if we can find another one. But thank you. As the Assemblyman alluded to and said, that it is a community effort. And so some of the folks you just heard from, they're on our legislative side. So they're the ones that are, fighting for those laws for us, and they're on the forefront making that happen for us. And we appreciate their efforts and their support in doing so. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jeff Jameson from Executive Dan McCoy's office. There you are.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Jameson, counsel to County Executive McCoy. I'm honored to be here on his behalf. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but he needed to send a representative because of the importance of this issue. Our children's lives are in danger. They're in danger every single morning and every single evening when they get on and off those buses, and it shouldn't happen. Frankly, it shouldn't happen at all. We've been talking about this with our partners for far too long. And we've been busing kids for far too long, but we have to do better. We have to do more. And I want to, double down on commend the media for being out here and sending all the message, but it takes all of us, and I really appreciate the governor. Governor Hochul has been a leader and a champion for this. And thank you, Commissioner, for pointing that out and for being here today, and to the Senate and Assembly. And this year with their bills, and to what they also did was help us with our enforcement. So we have a bus patrol is one of our vendors that we use for our stop on cameras, and tickets will be issued upon review. But sometimes there were issues that were raised that provided opportunities for people that were culpable, maybe during the court process, to escape some liability. So thankfully, we had really good partners in the state, and some changes were made to the law that closed that loophole up. So that's one of the tools that we need. We need partnership, and we need to make sure to close those loopholes, because we have to have it a deterrent. And it's unfortunate that people have to get fined, but you can't pass a school bus. And I don't know who out there thinks that it's okay, but there must be something that we're not saying or that we're not doing, because we have to change behavior. How do we change behavior? We have to go out there, and I'm not saying publicly shame people, but maybe money's one of the ways to stop it. I mean, if you get a ticket, you go home and you tell your spouse, your partner, hey, I passed the school bus and I'm gonna get a ticket for it. I'm pretty sure your partner's gonna look at you like, what is wrong with you, right? And so I'm gonna ask everybody actually to, not just the media, but today, go post something. Go post something on social media. Go post something on your Twitter, on your X account. Have conversations, that you were here today. Have conversations with your family and say, yes, I was there, because everybody has to do something to protect our kids. We have to protect our kids. And last week we showed that video of nearly 2 kids getting struck. And if it continues, we're talking about 6,000 tickets that were issued since September. In Albany County alone, 6,000 tickets. We have 6 school districts on board, and there's a lot of fines being collected, and it's over $400,000 being collected. And our hope is that goes down. We're taking that money and we're using all of that money. Mary Rozak is here, our Director of Communication, and she's got an advertising campaign that we have pushed out. And so we're going to continue to push that up, but hopefully that number goes down. After today, and after every time that everybody has a conversation, make sure you're telling your teenage kids, make sure you're telling your brothers and sisters, be aware. Just be aware. So I want to thank law enforcement. I really want to thank Belinda for running the show, and to all of our partners here for getting this done. All right, let's help keep our kids safe. Thank you.
So real quick, Jeff and Mary, I believe, they donated a case of lunch boxes that they all say, all cars, all directions must stop. It's the law. So I'll put that case in the back. Please take a bag on your way out, and I'll give one to each of our distinguished guests today. So where's Belinda go? There she is. Thank you for the yes.
Thank you. And Jeff brought up a good point about those that help keep us safe as well as our children, and that is our amazing law enforcement. I want to thank you all for your service to keeping our children safe as well as us, and introduce to you from Saratoga County, Lieutenant Hyde. Colony Chief of Police, Jay Jaras. And Colony Town Supervisor, Mr. Peter Crumney, who I would like to invite up to say a few words. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you very much. Once again, it's my pleasure to roll out for our Education and Enforcement Day, just as we did last year as well. Colony, in many ways, has served as ground zero as a test pilot for this whole program. As you all know, at any given time, Colony can have as many as 200,000 people in this town. We have 6 school districts, 9 zip codes, 2 villages, 12 fire departments, and yet we're one town. With that, though, comes a variety of traffic challenges. We also are threaded with a variety of very busy state highways, often 4-lane highways at times, including Route 5 and Route 7 and Route 9 as well. Very busy state highways, often with 4 lanes or more, which also gives rise to folks passing school buses because they're not necessarily paying enough attention to the entire highway, but only where they are as well. And I know the county's done some advertisements focusing on that issue as well. our drivers must be more aware of the entire viewscape in connection with school buses. As former town judge for 21 years, I can tell you the court is exceedingly busy. We'll have as many as 20,000 B&T tickets flow into the town court every year. As a result, I can also tell you that this program has generated a lot of activity in addition to this Colony Court that's already overly burdened, unfortunately, in connection with traffic violations. And our court staff is trying to meet this challenge. Many folks, believe it or not, they plead not guilty in the face of this ticket they received in the mail. And that becomes a challenge for our local courts, and no challenge greater than the one that's faced by the Colony Town Court. I've urged the county executive and the other folks that are involved in this fabulous program to make sure that the funds that are collected follow the prosecution. Because if these cases aren't prosecuted, then it will lose its substance and its power. So please consider that as we move along at every step of the way. It's just not the photograph at the time of the incident. And it's just not those folks that decide to pay the fine online or whenever they get a notice in the mail. But remember, there are other implications in connection with making this program work, and that's at the enforcement end in the local court systems. And Colony, as ground zero here for this project, not only did we start this project in South Colony more than a year ago, but now our North Colony School District has also embraced it. And we're so happy they have. We have 6 school districts total serving the town of Colony in many different ways. So we'll imagine that more will come and enjoy this activity with us, because it is a powerful program. It does highlight the need to manage our school buses and protect the children as well. I have 5 of my own, and yes, they took school buses every day. We're all in it together. We know what it is. We have to understand that the program does not stop when the photo is taken, all right? There's a process that follows all the way through, and due process allows folks to plead not guilty, and that ends up in the local courts, and the local courts are being overwhelmed right now. So I would urge you to redirect some of the monies that are being collected here to support the local court system. I know Chief Jay Gerace rides with me on this issue as well, and it's very important. Without our Colony Police Department doing aggressive road enforcement, which has been our trade for many, many years, we'll continue to do that. And now our school buses can enjoy to also help us get the message out. Thank you for doing this. It's a very powerful program, and we look forward to continuing to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Supervisor. I echo every comment that he made. I just do want to say that the Colony Police Department has always had a robust traffic safety enforcement campaign. We're a premier partner with the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. We partner with them on everything. And so we kind of look at this project with the 2 E's, enforcement and education. We try and attack it with both those 2 E's. And as far as education, we've partnered again with the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. So each day this week, we've participated in the No Empty Chair campaign. If you follow our Facebook page, if you want to go to that, you can see some of our enforcement and education efforts. But again, I just want to thank everybody for drawing attention to this issue. It is an important issue. The Colony Police Department stands committed, and we do believe that highway safety, roadway safety is public safety. So thank you.
Thank you. So while our legislative members as well as our police members are important, there are several other people that are up at these tables who are just as important. They're the behind the scene people who look at this data and decide what kind of training we need to give our folks and stuff like that. And they're our voice. They advocate for all of our needs on the state level and other levels as well to try and get these laws changed and try and bring awareness to our legislative members who may not know what's happening. So I would like to introduce some of those people to you right now. Jonathan Bentley from PTSI.
Thank you, Belinda. I am Jonathan Bentley, the Managing Director of the Pupil Transportation Safety Institute, known as PTSI. We are very pleased to be here at this Operation Safe Stop event, and thank you for having us. In our role as safety advocates, PTSI recognizes the loading and unloading process for school students being transported on school buses as the most dangerous task a school bus driver performs. It is our desire to join your voices to communicate to the motoring public that red flashing lights on a school bus means they must stop. PTSI also acknowledges the need to emphasize that flashing yellow lights on a school bus means that you need to prepare to stop and not speed up to attempt to pass a school bus. These important messages can only be effective by joining forces with school transporters, law enforcement agencies, local and state government agencies, and politicians, along with the media, as we have done here today, have done in the past, and as we will continue to do so in the future. The challenges working against our efforts to reach motorists with our message is real. In today's world of distracted driving, the dangers associated with passing a school bus have become more critical than ever. Since 1960, 28 children have lost their lives when a motorist passed a stopped school bus. The thought of a child, your child, my child, anyone's child losing a life over a random text message is intolerable. PTSI has supported these efforts by developing a public service announcement available free from our website regarding illegally passed a stopping school bus. We encourage you to use this short video to assist in getting this critical, important message out into the public. If the red lights are flashing, simply stop. Thank you again for allowing PTSI to work together with all of you to protect our children from this senseless threat to their lives and commit to putting an end to illegally pass a stopped school bus. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Our next speaker I would like to introduce you to is the New York State Department of Education Director of Transportation in Houston.
Well, good morning. My name is Din Hossad, the new Director of Pupil Transportation at New York State Education Department, short for NYSED. NYSED is grateful for all the state and local agencies and different organizations that are represented here this morning. It really does take a collective community effort to keep 2.5 million pupils safe on their journey to and from school. Since 1993, Operation Safe Stop has helped protect children, promote safety, and provide education to the motoring public, and therefore NYSED deeply treasures this partnership with all of you. According to last school year's National School Bus Loading and Unloading Survey, there were 2 fatalities that last school year by other vehicle. This means that 2 students were doing what they were supposed to do by attending school and traveling in the safest mode of transportation. But the 2 motorists were not doing what they were supposed to do, which is to slow down when they see the yellow lights and stopping when they saw the red lights. Importance of safety is not just other states, but it's also our state as well, as 2 of our own students were fatally struck by a school bus this school year in Rockland County. It is imperative that our transportation professionals continue to practice proper procedures that were taught to them during their 30-hour basic course and our two-hour refresher safety training yearly. Bus drivers are trained to activate their yellow lights 300 feet before the stop. They put the bus in park or transmission in neutral and set a parking brake. They open the door to activate the red flashing light, which simultaneously extends a stop sign with the flashing lights. Then they instruct students on safe crossing procedures of checking before they step off the bus and proceed 10 feet in front of the bus so they can have a visual contact with the driver. I see you, you see me. Bus driver then check for stopped vehicles and sign the universal crossing signal indicating to the child that it is safe to cross. Students proceed to the middle of the road, check again for oncoming traffic before crossing the other side of the street. Students are taught by their bus driver that a horn means danger and they are to go back to the side of the road. Drivers are to keep their school bus stopped with red lights flashing until students are at least 15 feet away from the bus or safely on the sidewalk. Now, to do all this, it takes time and intense focus. Drivers complete this procedure at every school bus stop, every school day. At NYSED, we are committed to ensuring continual learning for school bus drivers, monitors, and attendants. Yearly, we produce a document entitled School Bus Safety is One Bus Stop at a Time. And this document provides an analysis of reported school bus crashes and tracks student school bus fatality in New York State since 1960, and discusses better ways to educate transportation professionals. And we are in support of educating and reminding the motoring public of how important it is to follow the traffic law concerning school bus. Many of us live a very busy and distracted life. I have personally driven school bus, have witnessed people reading a newspaper, reading a book, putting on a makeup, having a full-on argument, or having a full meal while driving. I want to encourage all of us, including the motoring vehicle, to focus on our driving, to have patience during your commute, and to remind that each of us, that reminder that each bus contains cherished students with bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Inho. So true about seeing some wacky stuff when you're driving down the road that people are doing. It's absolutely insane. And it goes back to my question that I posed to everybody. What was that phone call worth? What was, putting on that mascara worth? What was that 30 seconds you probably saved by going through that, stop school bus worth? Because in my opinion, it was not worth those 2 lives that were lost by somebody hitting them because they were getting off the school bus. To close it out, last but certainly not least, David Christopher is our Executive Director of NIAP. He is our voice of the transportation industry, the one who works so tirelessly and hard for us to advocate for student safety and all of transportation professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. When you're the closer, you kind of have to change your script because everything's been said. And I certainly can't, I can't top what some of the folks here have said. I do want to say a couple things. First, I want to thank all of you for being here today. I would particularly thank the media for getting the word out. Those of you in the industry who are doing this every single day, you get it. This is part of your job to come and advocate for these kinds of things. For those of you who are law enforcement, legislators, the commissioner, we certainly appreciate your support on this. You absolutely are partners. We partner with GTSC. We do a grant with you folks for education and to support these Operation Safe Stop events all across the state. We have over 800 members across the state, and many of which are holding events like this today, which are very important to get the word out. So thank you very much for being here. Several years ago, as many of you know, NIAP did some surveys on this illegal passing issue, and we came up with a number that is used often in the industry to describe the extent of this problem. And since then, the school bus stop arm camera programs have come into effect, which we advocated very hard for back a few years ago. And we want to thank the legislature for renewing that 1174A. so that we can continue these programs. They're invaluable. We're concerned about the number of tickets that are issued, violations that are issued. I will tell you that my experience in talking with the bus patrol folks and the other companies is that yes, there's a lot of tickets issued, but the recidivism is very low. People tend not to get ticketed twice, so that's a good thing. At some point, maybe in time, this will just end. We hope. This is probably the most difficult, the scariest part of a bus driver's job is to release a student on the highway and hope somebody doesn't drive past and hurt that child. So I've got some statistics here. I won't go over those because we've kind of covered that in terms of the seriousness of the issue. Not only an issue in New York, over 242,000 passings a day across the country, which is a big problem. This is something the feds are also looking at because of the seriousness of this. So we know two very notable passings that just happened. The one in Brunswick School District just recently. That happened twice there, folks. If you remember, a few years ago, same spot, same kind of situation, and one in Manlius, New York, just recently as well. So thank you to the bus drivers who probably literally saved those kids' lives because that they stepped off that bus in the path of those cars. I can't imagine what would have happened. So bus driver training is very important, as Inho said. You know, our school transportation professionals are committed to bus driver training. Very passionate people who believe very strongly that training is important and protection of our kids is very important as well. So I can assure you that our children are in good hands with these folks. However, you know, we work very hard at this, but we need help. We need motorists to understand the seriousness of this issue, and we need them to drive without distraction. Inho hit it right on the nail on the head when he talked about the things you see out there. We've all seen it, right? Things you see when you're out there driving around that people are doing instead of paying attention to driving. Our kids only want to ride the bus to and from school. They're not thinking about illegal passing. They're not thinking about stepping off the bus and getting hit. So we as adults, responsible motorists, have to take that responsibility. When you see a yellow bus on a highway, pay attention. When the yellow lights come on, slow down. When the reds come on, stop. It's really that very simple. So I want to close by saying, you know, thanks again to the state legislature on Stop Arm Camera Bill. Albany County, you're doing a great job with all of the PR that's going out and the yellow shirts and all, you know, you're on the radio all the time. That's great stuff. And that's a result of the Stop Arm Camera program. It's happening in other counties as well. And you know, it's not only tickets that are issued and money coming in. Don't think that money's just coming in to support some other issue. These programs are supporting education and awareness, which are great things. So we want to thank you for that. And thank you to the media for being here today. It's great to see so many of you here today to get this word out. Law enforcement, thank you for what you do. And I think all of us working together, we can hopefully end this problem and save some kids' lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Before everybody, we want to get up, we want to do a group picture in front of our buses. We have 3 different bus vendors outside. We have our Thomas, our International, and a Bluebird out there. We would like to have all with our First Light safety products on them. Which illuminate. If you haven't seen them yet, please reach out to Devin Terrell. Devin Terrell, if you stand up, he is our new regional account executive for New York State for First Light safety products. Please see Devin if you'd like to get his business card. And if you're interested in getting these on your buses, they are putting them in at the manufacturers now. So I'm plugging everybody as much as I can. So see Devin. But after the group photo, after we're done with the photo, please come back in. TransFinder, our sponsor of today, would like to give you an overview of their products. So today from TransFinder, we have Tony Civitella, our CEO, or their CEO. We have Rick Derek, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Tim Gordon, Mike Bentley, Sadie First Stencil, McKaylee Norris, and Angela Vitti, all here to present TransFinder's routing products and their parent apps. So please make sure you come back in today for the presentation. but if we could all go outside and do a group photo with our legislators in front of the school buses, that would be great. Thank you.